What's to do, YouTube? It's Holy One, and I'm going to be discussing why do consoles exist in 2018. Now, the reason I'm asking this question is, what's the point of consoles anymore, and why don't PCs just exist at this point? Now, I'm going to tell you why. The reason this thought crossed my mind is the next-gen consoles are on the horizon, and PC is always going to be ahead. I know there was the mid-gen console refreshes like the PlayStation 4 Pro, which is not as powerful as people think, and the Xbox One X, which equivalently, spec-wise, it's pretty much on par with like a GTX 1050 Ti or a 1060 for 4K gaming, which it can't really offer native 4K, which I don't know why consoles target that. I prefer 60 frames per second. Now, the reason I'm asking this question is because I've always been a console gamer myself. Now, I'm a very PC elitist guy. People put me on both sides of the fences. When I argue facts about consoles, people say I'm a console peasant. When I argue facts about PC, people call me, a PC elitist. The so on and so far. But my first two consoles were the original Game Boy and the PlayStation. Now, I'm not talking about consoles in the nostalgia factor. I know most people who are console-only gamers do it out of sometimes corporate loyalty to their console overlords. Those are the fanboys. And then you just got the people who just like to own physical copies, blah, 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 blah. You know the gist. So, the reason I am discussing this topic is because I want to look in depth as to why I believe consoles are still relevant. And this is coming from a PC gamer's perspective as well as a console gamer's perspective. Now, I'm not saying, would I be fine with consoles going away and just gaming on PC? That's fine. I don't care what plastic I game on, what system I game on, as long as the games are there. If PC were to die and consoles were the only way to play games, then I play on consoles. If consoles died and PC were the only way to play games, then I game on PC. If mobile was the only way to play games and consoles and PC died, then I game on mobile. It's just wherever the games are, that's where I am. I don't really care what the system is or whatever. I prefer my games to run buttery smooth. That's why I prefer PC now. I've always gamed on PC since the 90s, but I'd always make consoles my primary platform. I always gamed on like the GameCube. The 360 was like my main platform, and I only used like really budget build PC builds to play RTS games like StarCraft and Civilization, those games like that. But yeah, the reason I switched to PC back in 2013 is when PS4 and Xbox One launched. They were really dry, and when I was able to play games like Borderlands: The Pre-Sequel, which didn't launch with the next-gen consoles, and I could get on PC and run it at 60 frames, it just blew me away. Like, the performance cannot be rivaled on PC. PC will always win in the performance against consoles. Now, when it comes to... Now, let's discuss my objective thoughts on why consoles are still relevant. Now, consoles are not... Let's go over the reasons consoles are... irrelevant in my eyes. We'll go over the negatives first. Consoles are irrelevant because they're charging you for paying online, or they're giving you these rental games, where on, PC, online is free. I know this argument's been beaten to death, but free online should be free. You're paying your internet bill, which for me is close to $80, and I don't need to spec another $60 on top of that to play the game, games. And these games they give out for free, I either own them already or they're trash indie games I'm never going to play. And most of these games I get free on PC because on PC there's a lot of, competition, and these key sites or websites like Origin and CD Keys, they give you free games just so they can compete with each other. Whereas consoles, it's a one market thing. So that's why another reason why they're irrelevant on that storefront. When it comes to, I know this is an argument PC gamers like to bring up. Consoles are relevant because they have physical games. Now, I know they're going to PC gamers will argue, you have to install the games, you don't own them technically because of the licenses, yada, yada, yada. But most physical games, yes, you're going to need to download a huge chunk of it in a patch on the PS4 and Xbox One. But it's still a physical disc, you own it, you can trade it in, yada, yada, yada. I know PC games you can get super duper cheap because they're digital. Most Switch games, you can just plop in the cartridge, and most of them don't even have patches. They're like the full physical game, and you can just play it offline as you want. That's why I like my Switch, and I play my Switch the most out of all my consoles. Another reason consoles are, relevant is because the controllers. I still prefer to game on a controller. I do like keyboard and mouse, but I'm kind of, I'm kind of a narcissistic gamer who likes to give himself more of a challenge. Like, I'll use a controller just to handicap myself against PC players. Like, I'm that much of a, narcissist person. But other than that, the reason I like that is because Microsoft releases the Elite controller. As next-gen consoles come out, they refine these controllers. I know people argue, oh, what about the Steam controller? I don't like the Steam controller. I think it's garbage. I know, yes, it's innovative. Even the Switch Pro controller has the features like haptic feedback in its controller, just like the Steam controller. So you have that access to that. So each controller has its features, and I think that's a big bonus that you get. So each generation you get a new controller, and it's refined and better than the last one. I know there's a lot of controller third parties out there that make controllers like Razer and so on, but I prefer to game with my Xbox One controller. That's another reason. Another reason, I know this reason is a mixed bag. When next-gen consoles come out, graphics are pushed forward. I know if PC was the only thing existing, graphics would always be pushed forward, but due to there being so many different types of graphics cards, CPUs, developers just give PC gamers, the game and say, hey, tweak the settings to whatever you want. When new consoles come out, they push the next graphics, even though the next-gen graphics will, be a bit higher, but they'll always mostly be at 30 FPS with some 60 frames per second games here and there. But when the graphics are pushed, new graphics cards can come out and push that 60 frames per second that we're all used to on PC. Though PC will always have the technical advantage. Consoles will just push the graphics forward, while PC will keep having the technical advantage always in both price and performance. So that's another aspect. I know it's a mixed bag. It's both a negative and a positive on that front. But over that's still that. Another feature is it's more money for developers. I know PC makes a lot of money for devs, and the money is split between developers more evenly on PC. But with consoles around, the developers are getting even more money, even if they're doing shady business practices. And most people argue, oh, there's always third-person shooters with stealth elements. I enjoy my third-person shooters with stealth elements here and there. I'm looking forward to Tomb Raider here and there. So that's kind of a mixed bag on that part. I always did miss the good old days where consoles used to just, put a disc in, play it, you could sell it. I still have that nostalgic feeling of owning like a physical game. I feel like the only console that does that for me now is the Nintendo Switch, because at least when I get a physical game from them, it literally is just a put in and play. That's it. That's all it is. Whereas PS4 and Xbox One, it's become more PC-like, and, the Nintendo Switch is the only one kind of innovating right now. And yes, I know the hardware is weak, but it still strives for a powerful handheld device. And Nintendo has some pretty good exclusives. Now, I know another negative... this is either a negative or a positive. Exclusives do kind of give an identity to a system, but I'm not really going to get into that argument. That's more of a pro and a negative on both sides. So, the relevance of consoles are still relevant right now. Now, I'm going to give you guys one final little bit of my thoughts. If consoles become only digital and are just dumbed down PCs, then I'm okay with them just becoming irrelevant and going away. Because at that point, all they are PCs, and they're not serving anyone anymore. I know people say, oh, your friends are there, your achievements are there, yada yada yada. Microsoft's already moved their entire OS to the PC. I've already transferred my Xbox friends over to PC. I can still chat with them, and Xbox Live and Party Chat are free for me. So that argument's kind of pointless at this point. And I can even download a PlayStation app and still chat with my PlayStation friends, literally on my PC while I'm playing a PC game. So the whole I go where my friends are is kind of dumb at that point, because all you're paying an over exaggerated amount for a system that can't even do the features it can anymore. It gets rid of the magic of consoles. To me, what keeps me getting consoles is, the factor of physical games. The only console I would get from at this point is a console from Nintendo, which was the Switch. I'm not even interested in a PlayStation 5 or Xbox 5, whatever they're going to call it. So, at this point, consoles are still relevant, but they could become irrelevant next generation. I know, my opinion is my opinion, but hey, consoles will probably still sell even if they go all digital. But like what happened in 2013, Microsoft tried to go all digital, and we already saw the backlash from consumers. So if PlayStation 4 and Xbox do that, it might be a repeat of 2013. So this is my thoughts on how consoles are still relevant or becoming irrelevant in 2018 and beyond, guys. Let me know what you think. This is your boy Holy One, out!